So, I just got done talking to an officer, Omen. Saw he was parked outside our house. Went and talked to him a little bit. Asked him if there was an issue, if he's worried about a vehicle. He said yes. So I pulled it up onto our property, and it looks like he came up onto our property and put a ticket on a window. So let's see here. There he is. Yep. The time right now is 5:37 a.m. and it is a ticket for a violation from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. on a parking ban. The date is the 27th of December. Got a little scam for some money here. Unreasonable.
My name is Nathan Miller. I'm going to tell you the events that took place on December 27th, 2012, regarding an encounter that I had with an officer, Omen, from Coon Rapids Police Department. I drove home in the early morning hours after working a night shift, and I got onto my street, and in front of my house there was a police car parked, and I had a friend's car that the officer was parked directly in front of on my side of the street. I pulled into my driveway, came out to see what the deal was. I asked the officer if there was an issue with the vehicle on the street. He said yes, there was a ban. I said, alright, well, it's not an issue, I'll just pull it off onto the driveway. Person got there in the early morning hours, and I can just move it right back on after I park in the driveway. And he said, well, that's not, if I was 5 minutes earlier it wouldn't have been an issue. I already have the ticket in the system, the vehicle's already in there. You know, it looks like it's too bad for your buddy. I said, well, regardless, I'm going to move the vehicle. And he said, well, he told me I might as well just leave it on the street, which was very odd to me, that the safety and security of the street is so darn sacred that we have to have 2 to 6 a.m. bans, that it's not that big of a deal to just leave it on the street anyways, after he already has it in the system. But I went inside, got the keys, pulled it onto the driveway. He drove off, but I noticed he'd only parked down the road, 115th lane, about another 300 yards or so to the east. And I went into my house. I saw a car come creeping up real slow, same squad car, park. I shut the lights off in my house, and I watched the officer, Omen. He got out and put a ticket on the window on private property. It's already parked on private property. Felt the need to trespass in the early morning hours and put it on a vehicle in my yard. So I ended up following up with that by filing this complaint, which I will be reading. It was sent to Police Chief Brad Wise, or Weiss, I'm not sure. It looks Wise to me. And I did not receive a response as of yet, as of today, the 6th of January. But there was only 15 days to pay this ticket. A complete reading of the complaint I filed
due to the events that took place on December 27th, 2012. It's to Police Chief Brad Wise of the Coon Rapids Police Department. This is a formal complaint against Officer Ullman, badge number 135 of the Coon Rapids Police Department, for his lack of professionalism and lack of common courtesy that became apparent to me on December 27th, 2012. In the early morning hours of December 27th, 2012, at approximately 5:20 a.m., I arrived at my home at 3355 115th Lane, Northwest Coon Rapids, Minnesota, to find a Coon Rapids police squad car parked on the street. I approached the squad car to determine if a crime was being committed in or around my house or neighborhood. I asked Officer Ullman if there was a problem with a vehicle parked on the street. Instead of receiving a kind, courteous, and helpful response from Ullman, I received an attitude. I would describe it as contempt for the public. I received a cryptic response that the car was in the system, whatever that meant. Officer Ullman claimed there was a ban from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. during the winter months in the city of Coon Rapids. I said I would just move said vehicle onto my driveway there and solving the problem. Officer Ullman drove off. I pulled the vehicle onto my property in my driveway, believing the problem was solved. I noticed that Ullman had only driven about 300 yards away and had stopped his squad car. I had no idea what he was up to and had no desire to figure it out. I was tired and wanted to go to bed after a hard day's work. While in the entrance of my home, I noticed the squad car was pulling up slowly as a burglar would creep up to a victim's house. I watched from my window as Officer Ullman got out of the squad car, trespassed on my property, and placed something on the window of the vehicle in my driveway. He then drove off. I went outside to see what all the sneaking around was about and found a parking ticket on the vehicle. What kind of scam is this? Is this a standard operating procedure for Coon Rapids Police? Inform me of the problem, allow me to fix the problem, drive off, then arbitrarily decide to ticket the car? First I had to deal with this cop's power trip, and then I was subjected to this invasion by a skulking cop. Don't you teach your cops the difference between public and private property? I would guess that if you can't teach them simple civility, then basic law is a lost cause, correct? If this is what it means to protect and serve, then I certainly don't feel safe, nor do I feel that I am being served by this so-called public servant, do I? This type of passive-aggressive behavior can only be attributed to two things. First, Officer Ullman feels that he has rights and I do not, so he lords what little authority he has been given over the common man instead of fostering a professional attitude a public servant should have. Two, Officer Ullman is being pressured by his superiors to operate a money-grabbing racket in the name of safety and security, only to steal from the public whom he allegedly sworn to protect. It is in the best interest of every individual of Coon Rapids that this type of behavior and swindling is investigated and dealt with accordingly.
Hello, this is Jerry.
Jerry, hey, this is Nathan Miller, and I mailed you a copy of a complaint that I filed recently.
You did?
Yes.
And I've got it right here in my hand.
Okay.
And I've penned a response to you, but I was waiting for the final note back from the police chief.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then I can just wait for that if...
I looked at it, when I read it, and I went, okay, he works nights, I'm not going to know what time to call him.
Right,
And
yeah.
Again, and I went, oh, he didn't give me his phone number anyway.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I did not have my phone number on there. Yeah, well, this is it right here, but, yeah,
Hang on a second there, Nathan. Let me get that file open quick, and I'll tell you where we're at
Okay.
so far. Have you heard anything back at all?
No, I have not. I did not get anything back yet.
Okay,
So.
Miller parking ticket. Okay. Okay. The first communication that came out from the police chief was,
Yep.
I've seen the complaint letter written by Mr. Miller regarding his receiving a 2 to 6 parking ban citation from Officer Nick Ullman, and we are handling it.
Oh, okay.
Assuming Mr. Miller's description is accurate, it's a training issue for a new officer on how to interact with the public. Although the manner in which Officer Ullman apparently conducted himself would not meet our expectations, there was no policy or law violation for him going onto Miller's driveway to hang the citation on the car. The right for the officer to be there is similar to that of a mail carrier or door-to-door salesperson ringing a doorbell.
Gotcha.
And he goes on and he says, we train and expect officers to be professional and courteous while exercising their discretion whether to issue a ticket.
Oh,
Miller,
okay.
Given Miller apparently moved the car right away, a veteran officer would most likely have warned him rather than cite. Although I wish it weren't true, occasionally it takes time to learn to think like a veteran.
I see.
So he's one of our new officers.
Okay, okay.
And I sent a note back and I said, "Are we doing anything about this parking ticket?" Granted, every Coon Rapids resident of driving age should be well aware of our winter parking restrictions.
Right.
However, as you suggested, since he arrived and was amenable to moving the car, and particularly since it sounds like the ticket wasn't even written when he spoke with the officer, I'm hoping we are doing something about clearing the ticket. And then Brad's last response was, I'm waiting to hear the officer's version of the events, as there is always the possibility of being more to the story.
Right.
However, should the officer describe the interaction somewhat similarly, yes, we will dismiss the ticket.
All right.
So that's where we're at right now, and the last communication I had with him was yesterday afternoon. Well, the last thing on this issue, anyway.
All right. Okay.
Was 3:43. Well, I guess it was actually the Wednesday afternoon.
Oh.
And I haven't heard any more back from him yet.
Okay. All right.
Is there a date on that ticket when it has to be paid by?
It says 15 days from the 27th.
Okay, all right. So we got a little bit of time.
A little bit of time, yeah. Well, and yeah, I don't know if this really makes a difference or not, but it was, as you can see on the ticket, the person that it was written to was just a friend, and she had pulled in, pulled in at 3 a.m. and parked on the street from out of town, so she wouldn't have any idea of that.
Oh, this wasn't your car then. This was somebody that was at your place.
Yes, yes.
I see.
So.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if they even consider that, but
it doesn't change the way it went down.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Right. It doesn't change anything.
It's that whole, I thought that once I got on the city council, I would grow to put more trust in government.
Yeah.
And it's actually had just the opposite effect on me. I mean, I'm just so wary of everything.
Right. Right.
And,
right.
And as I read your letter, I just felt myself going, "Oh my gosh, that's how we're treating our people, really?"
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Well, it'll be interesting to find out what the police chief, his interview with Officer Ullman, how that goes.
Right.
But at this point, I would say it looks like it's probably going to be cleared.
All right. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Something working a little bit more for the people for once. That's kind of nice to know. So.
Well, that's kind of how it's supposed to be.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. More of a innocent until proven guilty. Try and make something right before we just start firing out citations and charging people. So yeah.
You'd had an interaction with him.
Right.
That would have been the perfect time for him to say, "You know what? I'm sorry. I was already started writing this up. The car was in violation. I'm going to have to issue the ticket."
Yeah.
or say, all right, now you know the rule. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Okay.
All right.
Well, so Nathan, what do you want me to do?
I was,
call you, or you want to call me back, or you want me to send you an email, or what do you want me to do?
I can call you back again. I rotate days and nights, so I'm back on nights again tonight. So I'll just call you probably sometime next week, Monday or something.
In fact, it might even be better to wait until Tuesday.
Okay.
Normally we have our council meetings on the first Tuesday of the month, but because it fell on January 1st, it's going to be next week. However, it has to be the first business day, so it'll actually be Monday night.
Gotcha.
In fact, I'll shoot Brad a note that he can bring us up to speed on Monday night with us if he doesn't know something sooner.
All right. Okay. All right.
Oh, so how long have you been in town, Nathan?
Oh, how long have I lived here?
Yeah.
I've lived at this address for just over 2 years.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
You're kind of over behind U-Haul there.
Yep, that's the spot. So, yeah. But.
All right. Well, very good, sir.
All right, thank you for your time.
You bet. Thanks
Take care.
for the call.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello?
Yeah, is this Nathan there?
This is.
Hi, Sergeant Bouch, Grand Rapids Police, returning your call.
Yeah, how's it going?
Good.
Good deal.
I don't know if you got a hold of my other voicemail there, but you were gonna, did the guy pay that ticket? Your friend, or
Yeah, she didn't. She didn't pay for it. No.
He didn't pay for it?
No.
Okay. Do you have it, or does he have it, or something?
Yeah, we got it.
Okay. So what? I talked it over with. I talked to the officer that wrote the citation, and he's a newer fella.
Okay.
So and we went over it, and I told him, I showed him the letter, and I told him what I thought, and we talked about it, and I talked about he wasn't aware that there's some things that he wasn't aware of. He wasn't aware that he could just throw the citation away, and he was. We have quite a few requests through the city council members for these 2 to 6 violations. People that request us.
Okay.
Your area wasn't one of them.
Okay.
But, it was close, so that's why he was in the area, and he went over in his mind about how, as far as the attitude goes, he went over in his mind with me, and he wasn't sure how that was perceived, but we talked about the possibilities and what their possibilities were. But the long and short is that if you can get me that other half of that, we'll just tear the ticket up for that part of it. And like I said, each time I talk to an officer, it's documented in the software program that will be brought up at his evaluation meeting down the road here. And if there's no further incidents, I don't know if there's going to be anything more that I'm going to do with him other than what we call a coaching session.
Okay.
Developing his priorities and stuff like that. And like I said, some of it was he wasn't aware that he could stop writing the ticket once he started writing it. So
gotcha.
Now.
Okay, and you said, what did you say you needed? You need the other half of the ticket, or what?
Yeah, if you can get me that ticket, that other half, I think it's a little envelope thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can just get me that, then we'll have it dismissed, or it will just be shredded and not know anything about it. So
I see. All right.
So I don't know if you want to drop it off at the Grand Rapids Police Department, you can mail it to me.
Yeah.
Or whatever, however you want to do it, just make sure it's attention to me. Then I will. I'll shred it, and that's a done deal. And then it is obviously it is a violation to be parked till April 1st.
April 1st.
At night, but
okay.
Usually that's not. It's super hard unless it's snowing or unless there's been complaints by neighbors about it or something like that. So,
right.
But I think he understands what I was getting at, and so if you just give me that, I'll rip it up, and then your friend or whoever it is doesn't have to worry about it.
All right. That sounds fair.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, sir. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Hi. I was supposed to talk to Sergeant Bouch about
Down to
this.
the police department, all the way
Okay.
to the end of the hallway through the glass doors.
Thank you. What?
Never been to the police department before.
Wow, you guys need to get out more often.
Yeah, so maybe.
That's true.
Maybe she will.
Hey, I am supposed to turn this into Sergeant Bouch.
Okay.
He said that he's going to dismiss it and shred it. So,
Okay.
I don't know if he's here or what the deal is.
I don't think he is right now. Let me check. I'm going to check his room.
Oh, yeah.
Let me check and see when he's on duty here.
Why is that weird? I need to make sure I get my stuff taken care of.
On his days off until the 10th, but I can make sure he gets it. And when he gets back, we can address it. Do you want to leave your name?
I can bring it the 10th, you say?
He's back on the 10th.
On nights or days? He told me he was on...
Night.
Okay. Okay. Well, can I get some kind of, a receipt or something?
Well, I can make a copy of it and put my initials on it. So you can-
That'll work. Yeah, that'll work just fine. Thank you very much.
Put it back in his mailbox and, yeah. Is there a number that he can reach you back at?
Yeah, he's got it, but yeah, 320-336-9514.
What's your name?
Nathan Miller.
What's your last name?
Miller.
Miller?
Yep. Oh yeah, yeah, I talked to him last night about it, so. Alright, thank you. Let's see this out. Alright, that'll work. I'll be giving a kind of a chronological order and a recap as to the parking ticket issue I was dealing with exactly 1 month ago. The ticket was issued on the 27th of December 2012. I had approached the officer in his car before he had written the ticket. I thought we had reached an agreement. I was going to move it up onto my driveway, no problem. He drove off, later decided to arbitrarily come by and put the ticket on it, on the window of the car, in my driveway. That resulted later on that happened at 5:20 in the morning. Later on that day I had complaint written up and filed and in the mail. I waited a few days to get some responses. The only response I got was from the city attorney. He just sent me my my complaint back, didn't even open it, just returned to sender, because I sent it, he has 2 addresses, and I sent it to the one he did not want it sent to. That resulted in some hassle, dealing with his office a little bit. I didn't get one back to him. I then contacted the one of my city council members, and he was very helpful. He took his job seriously. He didn't treat me like a troublemaker. He, yeah, you'll hear in this this phone conversation that I had with him. Just that's how city council members should work. He definitely civil, and yeah, helping out his neighbors and the people that he's supposed to be working for. So that was a pleasant surprise. He was able to give me information as a response from Police Chief Brad Wise. I did not get anything back from any of the people that I sent anything to. I sent it to 2 council members, to the mayor, to the city attorney. Oh, he did. Yeah, he gave me back my my first letter, but I sent it back to him to a different address. He still didn't respond, and to the police chief. So the council member that I talked to, he definitely he gave me the only responses that I knew of, and he definitely worked. I think he worked hard for me and the citizens of this city here. He said I could call him back or whatever. I ended up getting a phone call from Sergeant Bouch of the Coon Rapids Police Department. He's kind of sounded to me like he's the trainer of this new officer that was issuing the ticket, and he gave me some information. You'll hear that phone call too. He did a good job of just kind of, you know, telling me what's going to happen, and that it's just going to result in a coaching session for him, and that, you know, trying to train him on what he can do and what he doesn't have to do, and yada yada. It was also helpful, and he seemed to be decent. He told me I could come in and drop the ticket off, and he would dismiss it. So that's eventually what ended up happening. Like I said, I got nothing else in the mail. I did this all in a timely fashion. The complaint was out the very next day in their mailboxes. They didn't respond to me, so I kind of pursued it a little bit harder, and I got results. Dealt with some decent people, and in the council member's case, a very good professional council member, and we squared it away. And here's all the information that it took in order to make this $25 parking ticket disappear.